I'm Emily from Homemade Emily Jane, and welcome to my sewing room / home office. Today I'm going to give you a behind the scenes tour to see all of my sewing space and share with you some organizational tips and tricks that I use to keep my space organized. Some things I'll talk about today are my cutting area, my sewing desk space, my fabric storage, my design wall, and my computer workstation. Okay, let's dive in.
We'll start with the cutting station. The cutting table that I use is a little bit non-traditional. Instead of using an actual table, I have two cubby units placed back to back. I love the height of this unit. It's 36 inches tall and comes to about hip height on me. The size of the top is just perfect for a standard 24 by 36 inch cutting mat. The best part of this cutting station, outside of the height, is the extra storage. I like to use these cubbies to store some works in progress, quilting gadgets, random craft supplies, and other extras. I actually keep my trash can right next to my cutting station, so it's quick and easy to throw away little scraps of fabric. Next up is my sewing desk area. I got this amazing desk at a local thrift shop while I was in college, and it's been the best sewing desk. It's super deep, which means plenty of space for working on big projects or for putting the embroidery unit onto my sewing machine. It also has these amazing drawers for storage for all my little notions and sewing machine accessories. Underneath my sewing desk, you'll see I use a little grippy pad for the foot pedal that keeps it from sliding all around on the hardwood floors. Next to my sewing machine, I have an air purifier. I find that it helps clean up the air from dust, lint, and other fabric particles. My sewing space has a couple of these amazing hanging magazine racks that are perfect for storing all my favorite quilting books, patterns, and magazines. I've actually had these for a really long time and remember using them to store books in when I was a kid. You know you've been sewing for a while when you've got to have all the thread and all the colors. Most of my threads are cotton for quilting or rayon or polyester for embroidery or garment sewing. These thread racks have come in super handy for organizing all my options so I can see them and easily grab the one I need for a specific project. Next up, let me show you how I store my quilting rulers. If you've been quilting for a while, you probably have more than a few acrylic rulers and you know just how totally essential they are. I like using a variety of sizes, so I always have the best one for the job at hand. I keep them all in plain sight with easy access so I can get to them at a moment's notice and quickly change between which size I'm using. My husband actually made me two of these wooden ruler holders that hold them upright so easily. You'll notice that the ruler holders all sit on top of a bookcase. This is where I store all my patterns and fabric yardage. The yardage gets folded into 9-inch wide stacks and sorted by color and theme. Pretty much anything that's a 1/4 yard or larger gets put in here, and I'll show you my scraps shortly too. You can see here all the yardage neatly folded and color coded. On the top shelf, I have 3 ring binders where my printed patterns are stored, each in a page protector so it's easy and quick to flip through. The bookcase next to my fabric yardage is where I store my Cricut Maker as well as my AccuQuilt Go. Inside the bookcase, you'll see some of my finished quilts as well as other crafting supplies such as dies for the AccuQuilt or vinyl and other cricketing accessories. I told you I would share it all, so here goes nothing. Let's take a look inside the closet. My favorite section of the closet is the scrap storage. Anything that is a fat 1/4 or smaller gets sorted by color and folded into these drawers. I also store some finished quilts, sewing machines, yarn, AccuQuilt dies, batting, some random works in progress, and various other things in the closet. It's not the most pretty to look at, but it works for me. As we continue around the room, next you'll see my ironing board and design wall. The design wall is made from 1 layer of cork and 1 layer of flannel. We used a staple gun to attach it to the wall. My ironing board is pretty normal. It's just a little bit wider than a standard board and it works great. Next to the ironing board is a rolling cart. I feel like you see these rolling carts in pretty much any craft room, and for good reason. They're a perfect catch-all and a nice pop of color. I keep a lot of random stuff in mine and use the top level to store my serger when it's not in use. Last but not least is my computer workspace. This is the new addition to my sewing room. Now that working from home seems to be the new normal, I created space and got myself a dedicated desk area for getting computer work done. It's a fairly small desk, but it really is the perfect size for what I need. It's just big enough with lots of drawers. Thank you for joining me on this sewing room tour. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you learned something new. If you plan on implementing any of the tips and tricks that I shared, I would love to hear about it. Please leave a comment on this post. Also, if you have any additional tips and tricks, I'm sure we would all benefit from hearing it, so please put it in the comments. I would like to invite you to check out my website, homemadeemilyjane.com. I have a blog post also up about sewing room organization, and I'll include hyperlinks there for a lot of the different products that I use. So go check it out. I'll put the hyperlink specifically to the blog in the description of this post. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that you'll subscribe to my YouTube channel and see more quilty goodness from me in the future.